Hello, everyone. I'm Ash Parker with Hancock County Library System, and we are here today to talk about wildlife rescue and rehabilitation with some of our local experts. Thank you to everyone who's joined us for this discussion. We're pleased to welcome some wildlife rehabilitators who serve Hancock County and the Gulf Coast region. We'll start with an introduction of the organizations that they represent, and then we're going to have some questions for the panelists. I want to extend another big thank you to the panelists who took time to talk to us today about the issues facing our local wildlife. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce you, and I'll give you a few minutes to talk. So from Woodside Wildlife Rescue, we have Paula Woodside, and from Whisper of Hope of Mississippi, we have Jamie Pope. Thank you so much. We'll go ahead and start with Paula.
Hi, everybody. I'm Paula with Woodside Wildlife Rescue. We're a fairly recent addition to the rehab community on the coast. We're located in Pass Christian, and we concentrate primarily on raccoons, beavers, and otters. But we do network with 5 other groups on the coast. There's six sister groups that work really closely together. So if we get a call on a squirrel, chances are I will forward your call on to Jamie Pope because she's kind of our squirrel queen in the area. We're going to do what's best for animals to get numbers up. Do have records of what we have. The state dictates where and how we deal with these animals when we get them in. So with the raccoons, we are supposed to release in the county of origin. So if we get a call out of Ocean Springs with a raccoon issue, an injury, perhaps we'll go ahead, try and get that to a group that's in Jackson County, such as Gulf Coast Wildlife Rehab. If that's not possible, they'll go through a quarantine before they come on our property. We'll treat them and then try and release them back exactly where they were picked up. So it's really important for us to work with the local finders, our local community, because if a baby raccoon falls out of a tree, our priority is to get that baby back to its mom. If we can get these babies back to their mom, we don't have to deal with the expense of raising these babies. A raccoon from eyes closed to the age of release for us is 7 months, costs us $250 per raccoon. We'll do it if we have to, but we can't do it as well as mama, and mama wants her babies. Every once in a while, they'll roll out of their nest, they get a little rambunctious, they fall out, they just need a little help getting back in. So that is our main goal, is when these babies are called in, did you see a mama? Was it under a tree? Will you allow me to reunite? And a lot of people, they're so excited. Yeah, and then I'll go out, I'll look at the tree, try and find the nest, and then I'll put up what we call a reunion box, and it's actually screwed into the tree. I've actually asked our local arborist, by doing so, am I injuring the tree? And they said, nope, not at all. So I'll screw this box frame onto the tree, and then I've got this garbage. It's actually just a garbage basket, and then I put bedding in there and a heat source, put the babies in there, close it up so that the babies can't open it, but it's not heavy enough where the mom can't figure out how to open it, get her babies out. And then I'll put cameras on it, game cams overnight, and 99% of the time, if mom is healthy, she will come back for her babies. She wants those babies. We also work with a pest control company, a local pest control company that goes in and evicts raccoons from attics, and they'll allow me to come in after them, grab the babies, set my nesting box up, and allow a mama to get those babies so that they stay inside their territory. And it's worked out really well for us and the pest control company. We also offer a free service for evicting raccoons out of attics. And we do that by introducing a sound source such as a sonic blast. We introduce light to the attics and scent. So that's what raccoons right now, it's baby season. Mamas are Mamas are looking for a safe place to have their babies. And with the habitat destruction that's going on, these new developments, I mean, look at Long Beach. They've just completely clear cut huge lots of acreage. Well, those trees are home. Those trees are home to these animals. So we just do our best. And these animals are trying to do their best. They're adapting to survive. So what they're going to do, their tree is gone. They're going to find a place to have their babies, which most likely, if it's an easy access, they're going to use your attic. So we'll go in. Typically with the raccoons, they've got 3 alternate nests, backup nests within a mile of where you're seeing them. So what we do is we just go up in your attics. We introduce sound, light, and scent, and give her, if she's got babies, 5 days to get out, and then work the roofer, make the closures, keep the cameras up, make sure nobody's up there. If they are, then we'll go up and we'll trap them and then take them in the backyard and release them. Their babies, they go in the nesting box, mom can come and get them. But we always want to keep these animals in their territory. We get a lot of calls on wildlife sightings. And with the COVID that's been going on and people really weren't moving around a lot the last year and a half, these animals have gotten kind of bold. We haven't had the traffic issues. So now people are reporting they're seeing a lot of coyotes, they're seeing fox. Oh, this raccoon family moved into my neighborhood. Well, folks, they really didn't move into your neighborhood. You moved into theirs. So as a good steward, these are things that we can do to live in harmony. We can coexist peacefully, and that's our message. And it all comes down to education, doesn't it? We fear what we don't know. So we see a coyote and all of a sudden it's dangerous, but every animal has a purpose. Raccoons, all I saw one out during the day. It's got to be sick. No, it doesn't have rabies. It has babies. That's probably this time of year. If you see a raccoon out during the day, it's probably a mama who's out foraging. She's got to keep up with that ever-growing demand on her milk supply. And the only way she can do that is forage during daylight hours. Seeing wildlife out during the day is kind of like saying, hey, I saw a human out there during the night. No difference. These animals, these don't stick to a set time of when they're going to be roaming around. It all depends on what the weather's doing, what condition they're in. Are they mamas? Do they have babies they have to take care of? Did their tree just get cut back by the power companies? Is it safe anymore for her to live here? Well, she could be moving or relocating her family to her next nest, her backup nest. There are a lot of things happening right now. I had a call this morning from a community in Gulfport saying that they've got coyote issues. Well, folks, how many of the residents have backyard chickens? When you introduce a food source to an area where wildlife are, you're encouraging problems with the crossover. Human interaction with wildlife. That doesn't make them dangerous. But the COVID has kind of messed up these animals where, well, they're not used to seeing so many humans out all of a sudden now. Now the mandates are being lifted. People are moving around a lot more. Yes, you are going to see more wildlife. Just give them space. Don't encourage them. Watch your smaller pets. You should be watching your smaller pets, small dogs, cats, because birds of prey will take a cat. An eagle can take a cat. The big owl can take a cat. They can also take small dogs. So, be responsible and be a good steward. And we can do that.
Great. Thank you. Jamie, why don't you tell us about your organization?
My name's Jamie. I'm with Whisper of Hope. We are, of course, a nonprofit. We do wildlife rescue here on the coast. Plus, we have people in other counties and cities. We have people in Macomb, Hattiesburg area, the surrounding cities around there. So we're a decent sized organization, but we don't have a high concentration of anybody in one area. We are not permitted for birds yet, something we are working on. So we cannot rehab birds. I can give you re-nesting information, phone numbers for the rescues that are licensed, but right now we can't take them in. We do have educational birds, which is a separate permit, and we will go, and when we're invited, and we do programs, we set up at functions, trying to educate about our wildlife neighbors.
Okay, great. So there aren't a lot of people here, but I do have some questions, and this will be shared on YouTube. So this is going to be a lasting resource, which we will promote to our patrons. So we're really excited to be able to ask you any questions that we might have. Does our live audience have any questions before I start in? You can unmute, or if you want to put it in chat, you can do that. And if not, I'll just go ahead and get started with a question, and you can come in after. You've mentioned some of your licenses and permitting. What are the current laws in Mississippi, and what's the process for someone to be able to rehabilitate animals?
You want to take that one, Jamie?
Whichever one of you.
I see I'm highlighted. Well, what I did, there are a couple of ways to become wildlife rehabbers. You can apply directly to the state. Their forms are on their website. But what's better is if you go in and you volunteer for a group that's already established, and you concentrate on the animal that interests you the most. I was with another group for 3.5 years before I decided to branch off and concentrate on the 3 loves that I have: raccoons, beavers, and otters. And it just makes it a whole lot easier if you come under another group, get in with the group, get as much information as possible. There are symposiums that go on all across the country that you can go to. It's open to the public. I just came back from Florida's big symposium in Orlando. And that all looks good on paper. If the state says, wow, you're taking an interest, you're going out, give her own permit. And that's basically what happened with me. So I've got the state permit, and we are about ready to apply for our federal permit, which will allow us to do birds. My love are not necessarily birds. There's a need here on the coast. And we're in a position where we can back up the other groups. So right now, I'm under WCRC, which is Wildlife Care and Rescue Center, and Gulf Coast Wildlife Rehab on their federal permits. And they're the only 2 groups on the coast that possess the federal permit to take care of birds of prey, including bald eagles and waterbirds. There is a limited permit, and that is like for seed eaters and up to a warbler. Isn't that right, Jamie? Jamie's more clued into the federal permits.
The federal, last time I saw it, I haven't seen it. The limited one was up to the size of a warbler. So basically they can do songbirds.
Were there any questions?
But this is what the permit looks like. This is what the state permit looks like. Here are all our volunteers. So, I don't think you can really see too much there, but then it outlines everything that we have to abide by. Right now, we are not allowed to rehab. There's no group in Mississippi that can rehab the white-tailed deer because we have chronic wasting disease. So we're not allowed to do it. We're instructed to give the number 1-800-BE-SMART if someone calls in, hey, I found this fawn, mama was hit on the road, and then we have to give them the name 180. But we are not allowed to go retrieve that deer or fawn. Not allowed to. We get a lot of calls on those right now. So what I'm telling people is the fawn obviously in distress? Is it emaciated? Is it dehydrated? Are there bugs on it? Does it look alert? Is it well fed? If it's well fed and it's not injured, leave it alone, because mother deers leave their The does leave their babies protected, they're hidden in grasses and things. But leave them alone. Mom's not going to be with that thing 24 hours a day. She goes off, then she'll come back and feed it 2 or 3 times a day. Put the deer back, put the bunny back. A lot of bunny calls. Oh, I have bunnies in my yard. Or I found them when I was mowing the lawn. Are they injured? No, leave them there. Mom doesn't tend to them. She only comes back 2 or 3 times a day to feed them. And then we'll give them clues on how to know if mom is actually coming back to the nest. You can sprinkle flour around it and look for her prints, or you can put a basket over the top of it to keep predators out of it. But there's a lot of things that we can offer educational wise, and it all comes down to education. And that's why we're here. But anyway, it's a 3-page permit. These are all the things that we have to abide by. And then this is an annual permit that comes in. So that's what that looks like. If anybody wants to see our permit or our financials, we are wide open. Just give us a call. You are welcome to see anything. We are as transparent as you can be. And if you got any questions on the permits or who has the federal permits, just ask. Yeah, here it is. I got nothing to hide, because this organization belongs to you people. And it services our communities. It's yours to be proud of and to use and utilize however you want. But unfortunately, our facilities are not open to the public. You can't come on and I walk you through the cages. All the wildlife that's in care must be kept out of view of the general public. And there are reasons for that. 1, disease transmission. And 2 is we don't want to habitualize these animals into thinking that humans mean food. So humans in general are the biggest threat to our wildlife, whether it be vehicular traffic or hunting. You just don't want raccoons, for example, to be running up to people and taking cookies out of their hand, or thinking that they can get a cookie out of your hand, if that makes sense. So we're here. You got questions, call any one of us. We all network together. It's not a competition. We're open. If you send me a call on an opossum or a squirrel, squirrels terrify me. I can't read a squirrel. They're very fast. It's just like some people are terrified of mice. I don't understand squirrels. I'm not going to rehab a squirrel unless I'm the last one here to be able to do it. I'm going to send Jamie. Jamie's my squirrel queen. She's with another group, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I love hearing that. And it would be useful to, since we just have the 2 of you, who are the other groups that you partner with? And are there any specializations within those groups for different animal types?
Yes, we have Wildlife Care and Rescue Center has the unlimited federal permit, and she's concentrating on birds of prey and turtles. So I picked up an eagle for them yesterday and posted the video on our website. We've got Gulf Coast Wildlife Rehab, who also has the federal unlimited permit, and they love the waterbirds. We've got Maggie Wooten, who is about ready to burst on the scene, and her organization is going to be called Southern Wildlife Rescue and Rehabilitation. But currently she's under Wildlife Care and Rescue Center, as am I. Then we have Tammy Hudson, who specializes in bats. She is fantastic with bats. Jamie also does bats. She is Possum Hill education and bat education. And I can send this to you in email if you like. And then if you want to post it in addition to.
I have that information. I'll go ahead and I'll post it in the video as well.
Excellent. Then we have Jamie with Whisper of Hope and her team, and they cover all mammals, and they've got their educational birds. So if I'm invited to an event, I can't take fur-bearing animals. That's a state rule. But hey, are you interested in birds? And then that gives her exposure, and she can educate about birds. If you've got an animal that you've got in front of people, they just go crazy. It doesn't seem to matter what it is. I'll take my tortoise, Fred, to educational events. He weighs about 100 pounds. He is a non-native. So what he does is he'll show people that you can buy a cute little turtle out of a pet store, and 10 years later, you've got a 90-pound tortoise. And a lot of people think they can release these animals to the wild. Bad idea. He's a non-native. He's probably not going to survive the winters. And if he does, who is he going to be displacing? So, you know, education, I think it's first and foremost, don't you, Jamie?
Yes.
Yeah.
If we
And
don't-
Jamie's terrific. So Jamie's terrific because she's got the educational birds. I think she has to do so many programs a year to get the word out and to keep these birds in her care. You just can't hoard these animals, but she's got some terrific birds. I mean, just adorable birds.
Jamie, what
And-
kind of birds do you have?
We have a great horned owl, Archimedes. We have a barred owl, which is Hawkins. We have 3 screech owls, which are Furby, Aaron, and Adam. And we have our educational crow, which is Jack, and Jack does speak. And we didn't train him to speak. He just picked it up and started talking one day.
That's great.
Wow. Are those all rescued birds?
Yes, there's permit for everything when it comes to the federal side of things, when it comes to the birds. So you have to have a permit for education, rehab. It's a different permit for eagles. It's a different permit if you want to just do taxidermy. It's crazy, the different permits on that side. But these guys come in and they have an injury or they're imprinted, so they can't be released. You have to have a falconer's permit with special, I guess you'd call it caveats, that lets you breed. You have to have a permit for breeding. So depending on what side you're on, for us, in our situation, it is strictly non-releasable birds. So Hawkins suffered a permanent wing injury. Then he's our barred owl. Our great horned owl and 2 of our screech owls suffered permanent eye injuries. And then 1 of our screech owls and our crow are imprinted. They are too used to humans. With Jack, someone found him on the ground, took him home to try and make him a pet, kept him in a bird cage, and he didn't have tail feathers when he got here. And he's a handful, and not to mention it's illegal. So they turned him over, and we ended up getting permits for him to keep him and use him for education. Sorry, cleaning up squirrel mess.
Mhm.
What are you feeding that squirrel?
Right now they're getting Pedialyte. Until they're hydrated, they can't have formula because they can't process it. We will probably, because we're not getting hydrated as fast as we need to, we'll start doing what we call sub-Q fluids. It's lactated ringers like they give you when you go to the hospital. We'll give them.
You've talked a little bit about your organizations, and I just wanted to throw this out here. How do your wildlife organizations operate? How are they funded? And what are your most pressing needs for donations if someone wanted to help you out?
Ooh, great question. Okay, we are not funded. We are not subsidized at all by anyone. We all survive off of donations. Yeah, it can be pretty tough, especially when we're dealing with rabies vector species such as raccoons. We're raccoons and otters. Although we don't have a documented case of raccoon rabies in Mississippi yet, we all need to be protected. The way people are moving these animals around across state lines, which is a felony, by the way, it still happens. So it's just going to take one that's sick coming in that's going to turn our rehab world upside down. But I have to be vaccinated. I had to get vaccinated. Oh, in 2016, I got bit in the cheek, and I had to go to the emergency room to get my rabies, my post-exposure rabies vaccines. And it's no longer given in the abdomen, but what they do is they have to do 15 around the bite or the scratch, little shots, and then they go in the opposing appendage. So if it was lower, it'd be the leg. Because it was so high up, it was in my arm. And then there's 3 follow-ups. That in itself cost me $23,000 because I didn't have the pre-exposure. The pre-exposure shot vaccine program is 3 or 4 shots, and that is a total of $900. So that's really the way we want to go. But, you know, what volunteer can pay $900? So we're kind of dealing with the state now and the health departments. I mean, I can't even get my titer read at the health department. They don't do it here. This is first time, probably the first state that does it, and it's an additional charge. And that titer it's a blood test to see if there's any of the antibodies, the rabies antibodies left in my system. If it's not, then I have to have a booster on it. And that has to be done every 2 years. I haven't had it done yet because the health department's not doing it. So my general practitioner is going to have to, I don't know, figure out what to do here. Yeah, donations is about what the only way we're surviving. And we have a terrific village that provides just about everything we need. Formula is the biggie. Formula and vaccines for us is by far the largest expense. I just ordered, and we get the formula at species specific. So I order raccoon formula, beaver, and otter formula. And it's about $10 a pound, and I just ordered 200 pounds, which hopefully, if we reunite as many babies as we did last year, that should see us through the year. I'm hoping. But otherwise, we have to do fundraisers. I paint gourds and I sell those on the side. Any promotional things like marketing, t-shirts. We both have t-shirts that we try and sell at festivals that we go to. And I've had people come up to me and say, wow, that's an expensive gourd. Well, ma'am, I could sit here with my hand out. I said, I'm trying to provide you something so that, you know, we can go to a good cause. You got to look beyond that if you want to support your wildlife. But generally, we have been really taken under wing, and people. Our village is amazing. And if I get a big donation, I'm not gonna hoard this stuff. I send it on to the next groups. If you can use it, come get it. We just had a big donation. They wanted to stay anonymous, and it was $5,500 worth of caging. There's no way I'm going to use $5,500 worth of caging. So I opened it up to our local rehabbers. And then I went to Louisiana. The Louisiana girls came over and they picked some up. Florida came and picked some up. And I have 6 cages left that will probably go on to my rehabbers. But yeah, bedding, we get bedding. We can use sheets, towels. Donate it to any of the groups. If you think you've got it and you don't want to get rid of it, you don't want to take it to the dump, call a rehabber. You know, I got a call last week on shoe boxes. Well, I didn't have a need on pay, but Jamie might because she does smaller mammals, right? So just send those calls on. Nothing's going to go to waste. Nothing's going to be hoarded. We're not gonna pay a rental unit to store stuff. It's going to go out the door. So don't be worried that it's going to go to waste here. It will not. We share everything.
That's great. Jamie, did you have anything to add about donations or help funding?
Well, our rescue tries to have a yard sale twice a year to raise funds. We usually do pretty good with that. We set up with Peter Anderson and a lot of the other festivals on the coast. We're trying to put together a wildlife extravaganza if we can finish getting things settled. That way we can start educating the public more and get state and federal agents in and all the rescues together. That way we're all out teaching, doing what we can to save the wildlife before they have to come to us. Now our group eventually would like to have a nice sized piece of property to have an educational center, but COVID hit and that kind of put everything on the back burner. Took grants that, you know, normally we might be able to get and put it to the humans, which is understandable and necessary, but it kind of, it's slowed us down, but we're not down and out. We're still going. But yeah, we get small grants here and there. It's easier to get grants for dogs and cats than it is wildlife, but we take what we can get. I always tell everybody, every penny counts. By the time we get done at the end of the year with all our donations, I take all the change and roll it, and hey, that adds up to a good bit of money. So you don't want to keep that change. You don't like change. My son hates change. He hates it. So if he gets change, he goes in the floorboard of his truck, and I tell him, just bring it to me. Every penny counts.
It does. And it all adds up.
Are there any current or future wildlife concerns that, particularly on the Gulf Coast, that you have thoughts about? Are there any issues? You've talked a little bit about some of the infectious agents, but is there anything that we haven't talked about?
We've got a biggie on the way. It's actually here. We've had positive cases, and it is a bird flu. It started in the UK and has made its way over to the eastern seaboard. Has come down the coast, hit Florida, Alabama. We're getting hit by it now. It is called high pathogenic avian influenza, bird flu. Bad one. It's a bad one. It's hitting the commercial domestic flocks in the Midwest, turkey farms, chicken, quail. Everybody's getting hit by this thing. The USDA has information on their website on how to protect your flocks. I've tried to hit every community Facebook page, giving them the heads up that this is coming, how to go to the USDA site. I just came out of the symposium in Florida. That's where I heard of it the first time, and they were getting swamped with calls, neurologic birds on the ground, underneath feeders. So what we're trying to encourage people to do is pick up and bag the dead birds that are in your yard, because we don't want other wildlife coming in, picking it up. It's already spread to the red fox population in the UK because they're eating dead birds off the ground. We want to kind of nip it in the bud here. Stop putting out feeders, stop using water dishes where the birds come in and it's a communal feeder. That's just increasing the spread of this virus. The state is about to come out with a statement, and then we're going to run with it on media, but we can get a head start on this. Get on the USDA site. You can go to my webpage. It has the website there for USDA. The state is getting their plan together, but this thing's hitting hard and fast. And what I'm doing right now is I'm diverting all my calls to Maggie, because Maggie has taken the lead on discussing it with the state. I gave her all the information I got from the symposium. Here are your contact numbers in Florida. Start calling them and find out what their protocol is. We got to get a handle on this before it really takes off. But this is going to be a biggie. So if people could do their part, I know you love your birds. I know you love the hummingbirds, but we're not going to be doing them any good if we're contaminating the next group that's flying in, because you're not washing your feeder, you're not disinfecting your water stations. Just don't do it. I'm begging you, please. Just don't feed them, don't water them this year, and let's just see how we go from here on. But it's called high path avian influenza, HPAI, and everybody can get online, Google it. I mean, you can't get too much information on this right now.
It's really helpful.
I think, yeah.
Jamie, do you have any concerns that was a big one? Do you have any
It's
thoughts?
a huge one.
Mm-hmm.
If you aren't going to take your feeders down, we suggest that you clean them every day to every other day. Try to pick up anything that's left on the ground, rake it up, clean it up. Just follow, just like when you follow guidelines for COVID, try to just follow. A lot of it's common sense, especially if you see a sick bird at your feeder. You don't want to continue to have them come into the feeder and sharing. So if you see, there's other things also, conjunctivitis and things that you see in birds where their eyes are all gunky and they can't open them. Just take the feeder down. If you really want to put it back up, then do so, but give the birds time to move on. Clean your feeders real well in a 10% bleach solution. I always am extra cautious because I also have parrots. So and my educational birds. So when I clean, I do the 10% bleach solution. I clean it real good afterwards to make sure I get all the bleach out. I let it dry in the sun, and then I use put my feeders back together, which right now we have no bird feeders out, but even with the educational birds, we try to stay cautious and make sure that we're not doing any kind of cross contamination, which you do that anyway in rehab.
And one thing I would like to add also, your domestic pets play a huge role in the health of our wildlife. Please keep them up to date on their vaccines. That is felines and canines. Our raccoons are having a real rough time the last 5 years with canine distemper and feline parvo. It's highly contagious and it came from domestic pets. So please do your part, be a good steward, vaccinate your pets.
Any other questions from the audience? Any thoughts?
I think I have any.
We talked a little bit about the path from volunteering to becoming, getting into wildlife, but do you know of any opportunities to volunteer with, or for folks who maybe don't want to volunteer, to help out with organizations or with wildlife conservation in general that you can recommend?
I would say call any of the groups. Figure out what animal you want to help the most. If you want raccoons, beavers, and otters, come my way. I can put you to work. If you don't want to rehab, but you can transport, oh, we all need transporters. And it doesn't anywhere in the state of Mississippi. We can use transporters. Jamie has used students in the past that are running back to school on Sunday afternoon. Hey, Kate, can you take this bird with you and drop it off here? You can do that without being a rehabber. But yeah, transporters are a big issue for all the groups. We really need help. We really do.
And if you can't be hands-on, there's other things you can do. Like, I'd love somebody to take on our social media. Come on, let's have at it. If you can help out when we have our yard sale, setting up, taking money, getting things sold and out of there. If you can help write grants. Writing grants is not my forte. I do the best I can, but not my forte. So there's other things you can do. I mean, it's not just about hands-on on the animals. It's what can you help with?
While she's hacking over there, we put in a huge garden to feed the raccoons. Sweet potatoes, pepper, you name it. We got this big garden going on. And when that starts producing, we're going to need people here to be able to cook down the sweet potatoes, cut them, dice them, put them in the freezers. We get sales. I find sales on fruit and vegetables. Man, I might have 1,500 pounds of cherries that I need to process. We just need people. We need, and now that COVID is being lifted, hopefully we can have people out here that are volunteering, not the general public, but people that want to volunteer. We can all use carpenters. Whatever your skill set, give us a call.
Fantastic. I think we've made it through.
Jamie?
Yeah.
Did you make it?
Yeah.
Okay, so back to you. What else? The grant writing was a good one.
Yeah, I mean, we're always looking for lumber. We're always looking for hardware cloth, and then people to put it all together in cages. Moving cages, rearranging, repairs. So that's carpentry skills. It's just a
cleaning. Yeah, washing dishes for us every day. That'd be great.
Laundry. Oh my gosh.
Oh, and laundry. Yeah. Especially in baby season.
Yep. It's just a matter of, I mean, there's 2 squirrels in here, and this will get changed a couple times a day. That's just 2 squirrels with 1 baby blanket. So we do to go through the laundry.
And when we're in full swing baby season and raccoon season, I'll do 8 to 10 loads of laundry a day. So there's a lot going on.
That made me think of another question. I was going to say I'm done with questions, but what's your typical baby season? What's a regular month? And then compare it to what you see during baby season, and how long does baby season last?
Well, for raccoons, It will
all year.
all year. Yeah, we really didn't have much of a winter last year, so we got started. Babies are being born now. And then April, we start getting a lot of calls. We did 162 raccoons with 4 of us last year, and we reunited 49 babies back with their moms, which took 128 hours. At one time in the nursery, I had 22 baby raccoons being fed every 3 hours. That's a lot of work. And then we have volunteers. We have close to 40 volunteers this year. But because of COVID, I was really afraid that it would jump if somebody was sick. So I only used 3 rehabbers and myself to do 162 raccoons. And then I did all the reuniting. So that kind of took me out of play. So when the reuniting happens, it's a lot of work on the front end, but it pays off in the end. They got to be back with their moms if there's a mom available. A lot of times mom is trapped and relocated, and then there's nothing but to bring them into rehab. And then we do releases in the fall, and we do a release in the spring. So in the fall, we released over 60. And then last week on the 7th of March, we released another 15 of those raccoons. And then our otters self-released, our 2 otters, Ollie and Stanley. So they're no longer with us, which is a bit of a heartbreak, but you know, they were ready. I wasn't. What else we got there, Jamie? Your season is year round.
Yeah, we're year round with especially the squirrels. We had a warm winter, so our squirrels started coming in at the end of January. Started out with a couple of little flyers, and of course we are just now finishing with what I hope is our last cold snap. So now we have 26 squirrels to release. So yeah, your hands are full pretty much. You get that little bit of a lull between with squirrels and some of the other mammals. You have that spring into summer time frame where you have babies, and then when you have that warm winter, sometimes you can pick up a third. So, and it just kind of keeps going. You get a lull, but you don't get a complete, oh, they're gone. And then you get the, oh my goodness, I don't have any babies. I need babies. So it's kind of a cycle. You kind of, you're ready for them to go, but you miss them when they're gone. Kind of like my kids that finally moved out, you know?
Mm. Paula, we seem to have lost your video.
Uh-oh. Okay, what do I do here? Oh, there it is. Oh, I'm back.
Maybe you didn't want us to see something there. Yeah.
Oh, you've already seen my mess.
Yeah. Do we have any more questions, or do you have any parting thoughts?
No, but I don't think I have too much more to add, but thank you so much for doing this. I mean, the routes of getting the information out, they're just so important. Mm-hmm. It's so important. And we're available anytime. You got a question, I don't turn my phone off. We're on 24/7. And then just tell me what you got. We'll help you as we can. And if we pass you on, don't get your feelings hurt, because it's for the betterment of the animal.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we're probably going to follow through with that offer, because the library loves partnering with our community resources, and our patrons love animals, and we have summer library program coming up. So you're probably going to get a call from us.
Wonderful. Yeah, if we can time it in baby season, I'll take you up to the nursery, and we'll just we'll do it by phone or something.
Wonderful.
Or FaceTime if we can do it that way. I don't know if
that
I
would
can
be
get
great.
a signal up there. Yeah, and you'll see, you'll hear them, you'll see them feeding, playing.
Well,
we've got as they get older.
If you can't get a signal, we do have Wi-Fi hotspot checkouts. So maybe we could coordinate that.
Because there's nothing funnier than baby raccoons fighting on a cat wheel.
Oh, wow. I have to see that.
We'd like to ask everyone just to try to coexist. For the most part, they were here first. So when we take over, we are actually the outsider. So if we can help you, call us. If I can't, I'm going to, refer you to someone else, but we need to try to work together to make this work for all of us. So, and then we might not all do things the same way. We're all individuals. Our rescues are all different, but we're all here for the animals. And that
You certainly are.
Yes.
And the wildlife, they have a purpose. They may be a problem for you, but if you knew the good that they're actually doing and what you're doing to encourage I'm trying to think of the word, Jamie, what is it? The encroaching of the wildlife, but it's actually us. If you look at the broader picture, we are the nuisance. We're taking their homes. We've moved into their territory. We're the ones that are displacing them. And if you get that kind of mindset and have the tools available to you to learn how to coexist, raccoons aren't a nuisance species, not at all. They're not even labeled a nuisance species within the state of Mississippi. They keep snake populations under control. They go after rats and mice. They go after cockroaches. Imagine what the South would look like if we didn't have something that went after cockroaches, which brings up another incredible opportunity to talk about rat poisons and rodenticides. Diamond Head is one of the worst towns for using rodenticides. Rodenticides, you got a rat problem, please don't use poisons because that rat will get outside. Domestic dogs and cats go after them. Possums, raccoons, bobcats, coyotes, all the way up through our birds of prey on up to the bald eagle. And it doesn't just kill the rat, it kills everything and continues to kill. Right now we're working with waste management, and they're actually close to to us physically, the big dump out here. And we're talking about commandeering a dumpster specifically for rat poisons, and poisoned animals, poisoned rats, so that they don't go into our landfill. It goes to the landfill, you see all the animals and birds flying around, all that trash, they're going after whatever they can eat, they're going to get poisoned. I pulled 2 eagles out of the dump itself that have been poisoned by rodenticides. And we know it's rodenticides because we can see the flecks, the colors in their fecal matter. And seeing poison raccoons, any kind of animal, it's a horrible way to go. There are better ways and easier ways to get rid of rats and mice in your house. So that's a big one for me too, is the use of rodenticides. It is, Jamie's seen it, she's been dealing with it. These poor animals, all they're trying to do is eat. What does an owl typically eat? How many rats and mice would they eat in a year? It's like 15,000 or something. Is it? It's crazy.
It all depends on the size of the animal. Now, your average mouse, my barred owl eats 3 a night. My great horned owl will eat 4, and it depends on the season because we up that off and on. So, and the screech owl will eat 1 a day. Jack the crow eats 1 a day. Of course, he gets a lot of other things too. He's a multifaceted eater. So you figure in the wild, they don't get fed a steady diet, but they also don't eat just rats. So they eat bunnies and, well, the screech owls love their worms and small snakes, and of course your snakes will eat rats, and depending on the snake, so it's kind of a cycle.
But the rodenticides, they got to go. I know it's a big money maker for these manufacturing companies, but we are poisoning our environment. And
while they're at it, you can get rid of the mosquito spray.
Absolutely. Or how about the lawn sprays?
Yes,
it all has an effect, a negative effect,
yeah.
And it just keeps. And a lot of these sprays and poisons are not only they're teratogens and mutagens, and they store in your liver, and they keep on building. They keep on building. You know, you hear about these communities where these kids are getting these very rare types of brain cancers and issues going on. Look at the environment. What role are we playing in that? And I guarantee it. that oil spill here, we're still paying for that. All the dispersant they sprayed and continue to spray to this day. It's a problem. It's a problem. So, I just hope people wake up and one day and go, hey, how do I want to be a better steward? That's it. Just be a better steward. It's not just about us. Stop being so short-sighted and selfish and think about the broader picture.
Well, I think that we had a lot of great information. Thank you both, Jamie and Paula, for coming and talking to us. I'm excited to have this video available for the folks who were interested who didn't quite make it to our Zoom meeting. And I hope to call on you again because I think you're an incredible resource of information in addition to everything you do for the wildlife in this community. So thank you for taking the time.
Thank you
Thank
for
you for
having.
reaching out. We're available anytime.
Wonderful. I hope everyone has a great weekend. And unless you have anything else, we'll go ahead and close.
I think I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. You guys have a good one.
Thanks so much. You too.